Inside Putin's flying Kremlin, the world's most mysterious presidential jet. When even Donald Trump, a man famous for flying around in his own lavishly branded Boeing 757, was said to be surprised by Vladimir Putin's presidential aircraft, you know this is no ordinary plane. The aircraft, often referred to as the Flying Kremlin, is a blend of luxury, power, and military engineering unlike anything else in the skies. Today, we take a closer look at the plane that serves as Russia's airborne fortress and presidential command center, the IL-96-300PU. To outsiders, it may look like just another large four-engine jet. But step closer, and you realize it is nothing less than a palace in the sky, designed to protect, project, and personify the Russian state wherever its leader travels. A billion-dollar fleet. Unlike most heads of state who rely on a single presidential aircraft, Vladimir Putin has an entire fleet of these highly customized IL-96-300PU jets. Reports suggest there are at least 5 identical aircraft in rotation. This isn't a matter of luxury, but of survival. Each time the Russian president travels, several of these planes are readied for departure. At the last moment, Putin chooses which one to board, while the others take off as decoys. This system makes it nearly impossible for adversaries to track or target the correct aircraft. In the world of global politics, where assassination plots and sabotage are real risks, redundancy is the ultimate security measure. Each aircraft costs between $500 million and $716 million, depending on its configuration. That makes every one of these jets worth more than the annual GDP of some smaller nations. But when you peek inside, you start to see why Russia is willing to invest so much. Engineering excellence. At its core, the IL-96-300PU is based on the Ilyushin IL-96 airliner, a wide-body passenger aircraft first developed in the late Soviet era. The PU stands for Command Point in Russian, Punkt Upravlenia, signifying its role as a flying command center for the Kremlin. This jet is a giant in every sense. It stretches 55 meters in length, with a wingspan of over 60 meters, and can reach speeds of 900 kilometers per hour. Powered by 4 Aviadvigatel PS-98 turbofan engines, the plane has a range of over 10,000 kilometers, allowing Putin to fly from Moscow to almost anywhere on Earth without stopping for fuel. Its maximum takeoff weight is a staggering 250 tons, and it carries more than 152,000 liters of fuel. That means the aircraft can stay airborne for extraordinary periods, particularly when paired with in-flight refueling. In a crisis, the Russian president could literally govern his country from the sky for as long as necessary. A flying fortress. What really sets this jet apart is not its size or range, but its security features. Official details are scarce, most are classified, but defense analysts believe the aircraft is equipped with some of the most advanced protection systems ever fitted to a passenger jet. The IL-96-300PU reportedly includes a radar jamming systems that can blind or confuse incoming missiles, the electronic warfare suites capable of intercepting enemy communications, and anti-missile countermeasures, including laser defenses and flare dispensers, a reinforced fuselage with special shielding against explosions, an advanced air filtration designed to protect against chemical, biological, or even nuclear threats. In other words, this is not just a luxury aircraft. It is a flying fortress, engineered to survive almost any imaginable threat, from missile strikes to cyber warfare. A palace in the sky. Step inside, and the contrast is staggering. What appears from the outside to be a gray government jet transforms into a floating neoclassical palace on the inside. The interiors are a mix of light tones, leather furnishings, walnut panels, and gold accents, designed to reflect both Russian tradition and modern prestige. Every detail, from the embroidered wall panels to the gilded bathroom fixtures, was personally reviewed and approved by Vladimir Putin himself. Among the highlights inside the Flying Kremlin, a private presidential office, where Putin can conduct state business while thousands of feet above the ground. A multiple conference and meeting rooms, equipped with secure communication lines, where ministers, generals, and advisors can be briefed in real time. In a luxury bedroom suite with a king-size bed, allowing the president to rest while crossing Russia's 11 time zones. A fully equipped medical unit, including facilities for emergency surgery, ensuring continuity of governance even during a health crisis. A fitness area, so the Russian leader can maintain his exercise routine during long-haul flights. A dining hall with a full kitchen and personal bar, enabling the hosting of banquets, receptions, or informal discussions in midair. This aircraft is not simply a way of traveling. It is an extension of the Kremlin itself, allowing Putin to maintain authority, command, and comfort anywhere in the world. A symbol of Russian power. Beyond its engineering and luxury, the aircraft carries immense symbolic value. The neoclassical motifs, the cultural art influences, and even the layout of the jet all emphasize Russian heritage and statehood. Everywhere Putin flies, the aircraft becomes a flying representation of Russia's strength and independence. Unlike most world leaders who rely on modified commercial jets, Russia chose to build its own, sending a clear message that Moscow will not depend on Western aerospace companies for its leaders' mobility. Comparisons with Air Force One. Naturally, comparisons are often made with the United States Air Force One. The American presidential aircraft, based on the Boeing 747, is itself an airborne command center with secure communication systems, medical facilities, and impressive defensive technology. But while Air Force One boasts about 4,000 square feet of space across 3 decks, Putin's IL-96 is considered more lavish in design. Gold-trimmed interiors, artistic touches, and neoclassical styling make the flying Kremlin feel more like a royal palace than a government office. Cost-wise, they are nearly equivalent. Air Force One's current fleet of VC-25 has cost about $325 million each in the 1990s, equivalent to around $700 million today. Putin's jets, at $500 to $716 million each, fall into the same stratosphere of expense. But for both nations, these aircraft are not about luxury. They are about continuity of government, ensuring that no matter what crisis unfolds on the ground, the president can lead the nation from the sky. The hidden mysteries. Despite all that is known, much about Putin's aircraft remains shrouded in secrecy. For instance, little is revealed about its exact communication systems, though analysts suspect it has satellite uplinks that allow real-time command of Russian nuclear forces. Some even speculate the plane could function as a doomsday aircraft, similar to America's E-4B Nightwatch, designed to keep the government running in case of nuclear war. If true, this would make the flying Kremlin not just a palace, but a mobile fortress of survival for the Russian state. When people describe Vladimir Putin's presidential jet as a flying fortress, they are not exaggerating. What makes this aircraft truly extraordinary is not just its opulent design or its vast engineering scale, but the layers of cutting-edge security features that place it in a class of its own. If luxury makes the plane a palace in the sky, then these defensive technologies transform it into something closer to a war machine disguised as a passenger jet. It is here, deep inside its systems and hidden in its outer shell, that the real story lies. The aircraft at the center of this discussion is the IL-96-300PU, a Russian-built wide-body jet painstakingly modified to serve as the ultimate airborne command center. While most presidential planes come armed with some defensive systems, Putin's version takes things to an entirely different level. The features built into this jet sound as if they were pulled from the pages of a science fiction novel. Yet they are not imagination. They are functional, operational, and kept in constant readiness. The first and most striking line of defense is its laser-based anti-missile protection system. Let that sink in. We are talking about actual laser technology capable of locking onto and neutralizing incoming missiles. Unlike conventional defense systems used on civilian aircraft, which rely on chaff, flares, or sharp evasive maneuvers, this system does not just try to confuse or escape a threat. It directly engages it. These lasers are designed to blind or disable the guidance systems of approaching missiles, ensuring they veer off target long before they get close. In practical terms, this shifts Putin's jet from a passive target into an active combatant in the skies, able to fight back against weapons launched at it. For presidential security, this is revolutionary. But lasers are only the beginning. The entire body of the IL-96-300PU is treated with a special radar-absorbing and radar-jamming material, giving the aircraft stealth-like qualities. Imagine a massive presidential jet that can almost vanish from enemy radar screens, appearing as little more than background noise or disappearing altogether. It's as if this aircraft can slip into the blind spots of hostile detection systems, reducing the likelihood of interception or attack. This is not a fantasy of invisible aircraft, but rather a high-end blend of stealth technology and electronic warfare working together. Now add to this a comprehensive electronic warfare suite that does far more than hide the plane. These systems can jam enemy communications, disrupt guidance systems, and create layers of electronic interference powerful enough to cripple coordinated attacks. For any adversary attempting to target the jet, the skies around it would suddenly become chaotic. Missiles could lose their lock, drones might lose their signal, and enemy aircraft could find their navigation scrambled. The sophistication here rivals that of Russia's most advanced military aircraft, meaning Putin's plane isn't just protected, it's an active participant in electronic combat. And yet, even with all this, one of the most astonishing claims about the aircraft is its ability to survive submersion in water. Yes, you read that correctly. The IL-96-300PU is reportedly hermetically sealed to such a degree that it could withstand an emergency landing in water and remain airtight, keeping its passengers safe even if submerged. This is a feature rarely, if ever, associated with commercial or military planes. It suggests a level of engineering that anticipates not just combat or mid-air crises, but survival in extreme and unlikely environments. The plane's structure, seals, and life support systems are said to be strong enough to maintain habitability under water pressure, a capability unheard of in conventional aircraft design. Then there is the matter of its onboard anti-aircraft defense system. While the details remain classified for obvious reasons, experts believe it includes surface-to-air missile countermeasures and potentially weapons capable of engaging hostile aircraft directly. Unlike civilian planes that rely on escort fighters or ground defenses, Putin's jet can defend itself if needed. Think about that, a presidential jet not only protected by others, but equipped to fight back on its own. The operational protocols surrounding these aircraft are as impressive as the hardware itself. Putin does not rely on a single plane. He has a fleet of nearly identical IL-96-300PU jets, and every time he travels, multiple units are prepared. He reportedly chooses at random which one he will board, keeping everyone, including his closest aides, guessing until the last moment. To potential attackers, this creates an unsolvable puzzle. Even if someone could target one jet, they would have no way of knowing if it actually carried the president. The result is a game of aerial misdirection, a billion-dollar shell game designed to ensure survival. When these planes fly internationally, the deception deepens. Several aircraft may take off and fly in formation, forcing outside observers to track multiple identical targets at once. For those trying to pinpoint Putin's location, it becomes a nearly impossible task. To attempt an attack under these conditions would be like trying to hit a moving needle in a stack of identical needles. Of course, the aircraft does not fly alone. When required, it can be surrounded by an escort of up to 68 fighter jets drawn from Russia's Air Force. Imagine the sight, a vast aerial armada, with cutting-edge fighters like the Su-35 and possibly the fifth-generation Su-57, creating a lethal perimeter around the presidential aircraft. This is not merely a show of force, it is a practical shield. Any hostile aircraft approaching would be intercepted long before getting within range. For all intents and purposes, Putin's jet becomes the centerpiece of a moving aerial fortress protected by some of the most advanced warplanes in the world. Redundancy is another layer baked into the system. The IL-96-300PU fleet follows strict rules that ensure backup aircraft and crews are always available. If one plane were to suffer a malfunction or encounter unexpected problems, another could instantly take over without interrupting presidential operations. This thinking extends down to the smallest details: reserve communication systems, secondary command modules, and even alternate pilots, all trained to the highest standards of presidential security. Every possible scenario is accounted for, and backup systems stand ready at all times. The communication infrastructure on board the IL-96-300PU is just as staggering as its physical defenses. In a crisis, this aircraft is not merely a transport, it becomes a mobile command center. Putin could, from the sky, direct Russian military operations, coordinate emergency responses, or even manage nuclear protocols. Encrypted satellite links keep him connected globally, with secure channels capable of withstanding even the most aggressive electromagnetic attacks. There are reports of quantum-secured communication systems being integrated, ensuring that no adversary could eavesdrop or break through without detection. This makes the aircraft not just a safe haven but a fully functioning nerve center of government. What is perhaps most chilling is the combination of all these elements. It is not one system or another that makes this jet extraordinary, but how they all interlock. Laser defenses to neutralize missiles. Radar-absorbing skin to cloak it from detection. Electronic warfare systems to jam and disrupt enemies. Hermetic sealing for underwater survival. Anti-aircraft weapons capable of striking back. A fleet of decoy jets flying together. Fighter escorts forming an impenetrable bubble. Back up everything, from engines to pilots to radios. And at the center of it all, a command suite powerful enough to run Russia's entire military apparatus from 35,000 feet. The IL-96-300PU is not just a presidential aircraft. It is, in every sense of the word, a fortress in the sky, an airborne stronghold designed to ensure that the President of Russia remains secure, operational, and in command, no matter what the world might throw his way. The world of presidential security is shrouded in mystery, often hidden behind sealed doors and classified documents. Yet, when you take a closer look at Vladimir Putin's mode of travel, both in the air and on the ground, you find yourself peering into a world where paranoia, engineering brilliance, and national pride all intersect. Few aircraft and vehicles in existence rival the protection and precision wrapped around Russia's head of state. Let's start with the skies, because it's there that the most remarkable precautions take shape. Putin's aircraft, the Ilyushin IL-96-300PU, isn't just one plane, it's part of a carefully crafted illusion. Whenever the Russian president travels, it's not just a single jet that lifts off. At least 4, sometimes 5, nearly identical aircraft take to the air together. To the untrained eye, they all look the same, gleaming white fuselages, the Russian flag emblazoned along the sides, and indistinguishable markings. Which one actually carries Putin? That's the million-dollar question. The truth is, no one outside the tightest inner circle ever really knows. Putin himself reportedly chooses at random which jet he will board, just moments before takeoff. It's a strategy that keeps potential adversaries second-guessing and eliminates the possibility of any coordinated attack being guaranteed to hit its mark. Imagine trying to plan an ambush when your target could be in any one of 5 aircraft. It's a deadly guessing game, and one that attackers are almost certain to lose. This shell game in the sky is only the beginning. Each of these IL-96s is more than just a luxurious presidential transport. They are technological marvels, over-engineered to the point of redundancy. Every critical system has a backup, and those backups have backups of their own. Power supplies, navigation systems, communications links, flight control computers, all are built in multiples. If one goes down, another seamlessly takes over, ensuring the plane keeps flying without a hiccup. It's not merely good engineering, it's the kind of over-engineering you only see when the survival of a head of state is at stake. To maintain such flawless readiness, the aircraft travel with dedicated teams of mechanics and technicians. Their job is to ensure that no detail, no matter how small, is overlooked. Even something as trivial as a faulty reclining seat can be enough for the aircraft to be swapped with one of its siblings. Nothing is left to chance. Perfection, in this world, is not a luxury, it's a necessity. These aircraft are not just transportation, they are instruments of power projection. Putin has flown on them to some of the most consequential diplomatic meetings in recent history. From trips to North Korea in June 2024 and again in 2025, to unannounced, secretive journeys to the United States later that same year, every landing is a spectacle. Each touchdown isn't just the arrival of a leader, it's a reminder of Russia's reach and the machinery built to protect its most important figure. But the story doesn't end when the wheels meet the tarmac. If anything, that's when another chapter begins, one that shifts from wings to wheels. Because once Putin steps off his flying fortress, he's greeted by an equally formidable machine on the ground, the Aurus Senate. This is no ordinary limousine. First revealed to the public during Putin's 4th inauguration in May 2018, the Aurus Senate represents more than just transport, it's a declaration of independence. For decades, Russian leaders rode in Mercedes-Benz limousines, imports from Germany that symbolized reliability but also dependence on foreign technology. Putin's car changed that narrative. Built entirely in Russia, the Senate became a rolling emblem of technological pride and national strength. The story of its creation dates back to 2013, when the Russian government launched the Cortege project. The aim wasn't just to make one limousine. Instead, engineers set out to build an entire line of state vehicles, sedans, SUVs, and vans, all based on a unified modular platform. They would be named after Kremlin towers, Senate, Arsenal, Commandant, tying them directly to the symbols of Russian power. At first glance, the Aurus Senate could be mistaken for a high-end luxury car. Its long, stately body and gleaming chrome trim would look at home in any collection of executive limousines. But what lies beneath is something far more extraordinary. The presidential variant is powered by a 4.4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 hybrid engine, producing nearly 600 horsepower. That's the kind of output you'd expect from a supercar, not a limousine weighing over 6 tons. And when situations demand even more, Putin has access to a version fitted with a monstrous 6.6-liter V12 engine, delivering a jaw-dropping 850 horsepower. Think about that for a moment. A vehicle longer than many driveways, tipping the scales at over 13,000 pounds, capable of accelerating with the fury of a sports car. Why? Because in an emergency, speed isn't a luxury, it's survival. In a split second, the car needs to go from standstill to full escape velocity, putting as much distance as possible between its passengers and any threat. The engineering challenges behind this machine are staggering. Its suspension must bear the load of tank-like armor while still allowing the car to handle corners and sudden maneuvers. Its braking system must stop something that weighs as much as a small truck, and its steering must remain precise even under the most chaotic circumstances. All of this has been perfected in the Senate, a vehicle that doesn't just move, it dominates the road. Now, let's talk protection, because that's where the Senate truly earns its fearsome reputation. The car is rated at VR-10 ballistic protection, the highest certification level available for civilian armored vehicles. What does that mean in practice? It means the car can withstand direct fire from armor-piercing rounds, not just from assault rifles like the AK-47, but also from sniper rifles designed to punch through vehicles and fortified positions. In other words, this limousine is more secure than many armored military transports. The standards behind VR-10 aren't theoretical. They involve brutal tests, sustained fire from multiple weapons at close range, pounding the vehicle from every angle to ensure no weakness exists. The Senate passes those tests, making it one of the safest places on Earth to be in the middle of an ambush. And bullets aren't the only concern. The underside of the vehicle is armored against mines and improvised explosive devices. Even if attackers try to strike from below, the car is designed to absorb the blast and keep moving. The tires? They're run flats, but not the kind you see in high-end SUVs. These are solid core constructions that can keep rolling at high speeds even if shredded or destroyed. Imagine all 4 tires shot out, and yet the car still racing down the road, carrying its passenger to safety. That's what the Senate is built to do. The security measures go even further. The interior cabin is hermetically sealed and equipped with an advanced air filtration system. In the event of a chemical or biological attack, the occupants can remain safe inside, breathing filtered air, while a backup oxygen supply ensures survival even in the worst-case scenarios. In this way, the Senate isn't just an armored vehicle, it's a survival capsule on wheels. Every detail of its design has been shaped by the singular goal of keeping Russia's president alive under any circumstance. From raw horsepower to armored plating, from bomb-resistant floors to self-sustaining life support systems, the Aurus Senate is as much a fortress as it is a car. When you put it all together, the decoy aircraft circling above, the backup systems hidden deep within the IL-96, the secretive flights to enemy capitals, and the armored motorcade waiting below, you begin to understand something fundamental about the way Russia views its leadership. Protecting the president isn't just about safeguarding one man. It's about preserving the image of Russian power, continuity, and resilience on the global stage. The final thoughts. When people hear about presidential planes, they often think of comfort, luxury, or political prestige. But Putin's IL-96-300PU goes far beyond that. It is simultaneously a palace, a bunker, and a command center, embodying the essence of Russia's state philosophy: strength, resilience, and grandeur. It is also a reminder of the lengths world powers go to protect their leaders. For Russia, investing over $3 billion in a fleet of presidential jets is not seen as extravagance, but as necessity. In a country that spans 2 continents, 11 time zones, and countless geopolitical rivals, mobility and survival are everything. The Flying Kremlin remains one of the world's most fascinating and mysterious aircraft. To some, it is a marvel of engineering. To others, a symbol of excess. But to Vladimir Putin, it is nothing less than a throne in the sky.